Okay, I'm gonna show you guys in this video how I achieve my brows. Now I'm gonna use two different kind of products, but the process is all gonna be the same. Although I give you guys step by step as I'm doing like my tutorials, my try-ons, and I show you guys and I give you little tips and tricks, I often still get questions on my brows, and I think that it's unfair to tell you guys, hey, go check out my try-ons because it's there. I mean, realistically speaking, wouldn't it be easier to have a dedicated video? I asked you guys and you guys said yes, do a dedicated video so I can just go directly to the brow one and follow it as we go. So we're gonna do that today. Make sure you get a big ass piece of paper and a pen because you're gonna have to jot down a lot of notes. Okay, no, I'm joking, no notes. But I am gonna show you guys the items that you guys might wanna like list them just in case. So first things first, you're gonna need a few brushes. My brushes are dirty, but that's because I use them every single day and we're midweek here. So you're going to need like a little spoolie situation. As you can see, we're gonna use gel with this. So you're gonna need a little spoolie without any pigmented product on it. It would be great. So if you have a clean one or one that already has gel, that works. And then you're gonna need two brushes. As you can see, I have a very small definer brush here. This would be typically used for concealer under the eye or for like the inner corners. Girl, it's a synthetic brush, it's flat, it's small. I use this to fill in my brows. Why? Because it's so much faster. So you're gonna need that. Then you're going to need another one, but this one is a little bigger. As you can see, this is so that we can sculpt and clean out the brow area. Also synthetic, and it's nice and flat and slim. So you're gonna need that. Then you're gonna need what you're gonna fill your brows with. Like I said, I'm gonna use two different products to show you how to achieve it, whether you're using a pomade or a pencil. So the pomade I'm going to, oh, there's a piece of a lash stuck to it. The pomade I'm gonna use is the Patrikios Dark Brown Brow Pomade. This thing is waterproof, sweat-proof, and everything you can imagine. Now this is typically to be used with a stamp and stencils, but I find that I like it better without the stamp and the stencils. And now you can just buy the product itself with a like angled brush applicator and it's a little thing too. So if you wanted to go onto the website and snag like a bundle like this, not this one, but the one that they sell, they have that. I use dark brown because even if you're like a really dark brunette, you do not want to go black. Even like a cool black would be way too dark in most cases. You want your brows to look natural, like very everyday. You want to go the darkest brown you can find, even an espresso, because it still has a little bit of a grayish hue to it and it won't look heavy on the eyeball. And then if you're gonna use a pencil, I'm gonna use on one of the brows the Precisely My Brow by Benefit Cosmetics in 6. This is kind of like the darkest brown they have, more like a cool black, but not very black. I'll swatch it here so you guys can get an idea. You see what I'm saying? It's still really dark, but not quite black. It's like a black brown, if you will. It's very, very thin, so you'll be able to fill in your brows without it being too much. I did get feedback from you guys saying like when you're going in, somehow you kind of overdo it. I'm gonna show you exactly how to fix that and how to avoid that. And I will be zooming you in, but I wanna show you guys additional product you're gonna need. I personally like a brow concealer. Now this here is by the Brow Bar by Rima. This is in the shade medium. I like how pasty and thick it is because a little bit is gonna go a very, very long way. If you don't have something like this, go ahead and grab a concealer. However, if you have a potted concealer that's kind of like a pasty concealer, like, let me see if I have one here, hold on. This here is the Benefit Boying Industrial Strength Concealer. And as you can see, it's in a potted container. It's pasty. I can just kind of wipe my brush onto that and grab a little bit. It's easier to blend out a cream versus a liquid, and I'll kind of show you why. But if you don't have that, that's fine. Just grab any concealer you have. This is the Bobbi Brown. This is their brand new one that just launched, the Skin Full Cover Concealer. You can do a liquid concealer. I'm gonna show you guys the difference. That way you guys have options. I don't want you guys to run out and buy stuff if you are unable to or not, you know, interested in that and you just kind of want to use what you have. You can use a hair gel. This is my go-to hair gel. I've been doing this for years. This became viral like recently, but I've been using this for years. If you go back to like maybe 3-4 years ago, like my videos, I've featured this. I used it on my hair and then I used it on my brows and it worked and I kind of stuck with it. So I got a little travel size. If you don't have this, you can always use your ABH. A clear brow gel always works. I would avoid pigment because you're already applying pigment and you want your brows to look natural. So the more pigment you apply, the less natural they look. And this is gonna help them look like really like combed out and pretty. I am gonna go ahead and zoom you guys in. Okay, we're gonna start off with this brow over here, and I am going to use the Brow Code's Pomade. I am going to grab my dirty brush. I know it's dirty, okay? And I'm gonna kind of dip it in like this. I hope this step-by-step actually helps you guys. And by the way, if you're new to my channel, please make sure you hit the subscribe button. It is free and you'll be joining a fun little family here on the YouTube. Also, while you're there, please hit the notification bell. That way YouTube lets you know every single time I upload a brand new video and or provide an update over on my community page. And if you can please hit the like button, it really, really helps me out. So we're gonna go ahead, goo goo goo, and then we're gonna wipe any excess like this on the edge. And for those of you who like the goo 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 goo, you're welcome. So I'm going to grab the brush like this, right? I'm not gonna swipe. I'm going to grab it and use the tip to kind of brush along. I am tracing my natural brow line. Even where there's like a teeny bit amount of hair, like right there, I am gonna go on top of that. At the top, you don't really want to overdo it too much, right? Because it's going to be really, really noticeable, and that's not sexy. On the top, you want to make sure that you are following your brow hair like line to a T. Wherever I had hair, I made sure it's covered. I'm going to go in very lightly. Now, that's why I like the Brow Code, because it picks up, but it's so thick that you're not gonna overdo it, but it's not super creamy to the point that it's gonna slip and slide everywhere. If you have the ABH one, that's fine. I like that one once it's getting old and kind of like drying out, because it gives you this consistency. But this is waterproof, and then the ABH one is not so much. So that's something to consider. And then I'm just gonna kind of brush this way like this at an angle. Again, I'm just using the tip of the brush, and as you can see, I'm not overdoing. Wherever I'm supposed to have hair, but it's just not thick enough, that's where I'm kind of brushing over. I'm doing it very lightly. And now here's what I don't have the arch at the bottom portion of the brow the way I like it. So I would go in and create the arch that I would like. And it doesn't have to be pretty, doesn't have to be perfect, because we are going to correct that. But if you notice, you can tell that it's just more of a shadow. There's not like real hair there, but that's okay. We're faking it. I am going to glide it like this. It doesn't look great. Again, we're gonna fix it. Trust the process. So if you're ever gonna reshape and create a fake brow area, you wanna do it at the bottom, not on the top. Now, we're gonna go to the front. It's already like setting, which is great. And I'm gonna brush backward like this to make sure that I'm getting some pigment onto this area without it being too heavy. If I were to go like this, it's gonna be heavy like here. You want it to be nice and light. So you kinda wanna give it a wash of pigment, which we're doing here. And then in order to shape this area properly, I'm just going to lightly flick up. And then I'm done. I'm gonna leave her alone. So far, the brow's looking good. Now I can close this baby up because I'm not gonna use her anymore. We're done with her. I'm gonna set my brush over to the side. If not, I will lose her. Now we're gonna go in to the brow concealer. Same thing. Because she's so thick and pasty, I can go like this and I know I'm not picking up too much. So I'm gonna take my brush, right? And instead of going here, I want to take it and apply some of that brow concealer here. It doesn't seem like I picked up a lot, but it's gonna be very harsh at first because you did pick up a cream product. So you want to apply the majority of that product in this area to clean it out. And yes, in order to get your brows to look shaped and sharp, you do have to take this step. No one has perfect brows, I promise. So I went ahead and I did that, right? I'm not going in with any additional product. I'm gonna use the tip of my brush and I'm gonna blend back and forth here. So I'm kind of doing this and bringing it over. Do you see the difference already on the damn brow? She looks beautiful. She looks sexy. We're not done, but she's looking really good. I'm gonna do the same thing, lightly go in, and I'm gonna do the top. Now, I am not going directly on top of the brow. I'm going close, but not like that close. Do you see how harsh it is here? That gives me wiggle room to kind of blend. So now I'm just using the actual entire brush to go along the like brow line, if that makes sense. Now I can see where to make adjustments. I can go in and blend a little more here just to diffuse that line. And then if it's like still too harsh at the top, do not go in with a sponge or a foundation because you're gonna like mess up your brow. Use your finger, just use a finger, kind of blend like that, mija, and then that brow is looking even more pretty. But we're gonna finish her off. And to finish her off, we're gonna use the hair gel, right? So we're gonna squirt a little, I can't believe I just said squirt on camera. We're gonna squirt a little bit on the back of the hand, like a very, very small amount. And that's where your little spoolie comes into place. You want to do one of these. So you're going to comb it through. And here you have brow number 1. She's gonna stay a little shiny at first because you need the hair gel to actually dry out, but then you're good. So we went from like this to this. All right, now that that brow is looking really, really pretty, we have to make this one match. So let's grab our pencil. So for those of you who want to use a pencil to achieve really beautiful, full sculpted brows, this one is for you guys. Grab your pencil and just start brushing in your product. Same concept. Wherever you see that you have hair, even though it's not thick enough or dark enough, the whole theory is you don't want to create a new brow, you want to fill in your brow. So I'm gonna go along my natural hairline, no matter how light it is, and I'm gonna fill my brow in. Now, of course, when you already have one brow done, you want to make sure that you're looking at both of them, that you're shaping them properly because you want them to match. And usually brows are not like real twins, right? Usually they're like sisters, maybe cousins. So you want to always make sure that you're looking at the brow that's already done and trying to mimic the same shape on the other one. So as you can see, I'm just literally doing one of these. I'm going to comb up every once in a while, which is nice to get like a spoolie with your pencil. Now, as you guys can notice, this brow is usually more full, and I did add a little extra pizzazz at the bottom where there was no hair. I have that issue here, right? So I'm gonna go in and follow the fake arch that I had in the other brow. And if you overdo it, it's fine because that's where the concealer comes into play. So my method is very forgiving. It's not like set in stone. You can always make changes just by adding some concealer. When you're using a pencil, you want to make sure that you're brushing in between because the pigment tends to move a little bit while it sets. So you want to brush in between, that way you're not overdoing it. And areas like right here that it looked sparse, I brushed in, and now she looks a little more full. So by brushing in between, you're going to avoid overdoing the application of product so it doesn't look heavy, because you don't want a really natural pretty brow and then something that's like really heavy. Comparing both brows as we go. All right, I think we're getting somewhere. Now here's the thing, it may not look the same right now, and that's fine, because now we're gonna go in with the concealer. I'm gonna use the liquid concealer so you guys get kind of like an idea of what I was talking about, the difference. So I'm just gonna pop some here on the back of my hand, and then I'm gonna go in with the concealer brush. Now you wanna go light-handed because it being a liquid, the brush is gonna pick up a lot at once. So we're gonna go in with the same concept. You're gonna go in on the back end of your brow. So you wanna sculpt the tail first. And then with whatever's left on your brush, you're gonna repeat the same steps. Go back and forth like this and drag it back. They're starting to look like sisters. Okay, and we're gonna do the same process at the top. My suggestion and or advice, you don't have to do this, but make sure that the concealer you're using is a concealer that's fairly close to your foundation shade and or your skin tone. If you're gonna use a concealer that is much lighter than your complexion, it's going to be really noticeable, and it's not gonna really highlight your brows in a pretty way, and you don't want that. You don't want it to be an obvious difference. And then you can take whatever is left, just a smidge, and kind of clean out these areas here. I always like to go in with my finger and kind of do one of these. We're gonna set the brows with sun gel. I'm gonna use the ABH one. I feel like most people have this now. I'm gonna kind of brush these babies up. See how much more sculpted and pretty they look? They definitely look way better than what I had before. And here you go. Here are the brows once they are completed. Now, if you're really gonna stare at it, they look nice. They do match. However, one is darker than the other. Of course, we use two different products, so I am sacrificing my brows not looking the same actual shade so that you guys can see that beautiful brows are achievable no matter whether you're using a pomade or a pencil. I really want to hear you guys' feedback. Is this something that you guys think you can achieve at home? And if you do try it and you don't get it on the first try, no worries, because practice does make perfect. You'll be able to get it down to the T in no time. I'm really happy that you guys wanted a fully dedicated video on just brows. That way you guys can like watch this on repeat and kind of follow step by step until you perfect your brows. I'm gonna move on to filming the other videos that I have to film today, but stay tuned because the Il Maquillage foundation try on and review is coming. It is not first impressions, but I bring you guys up close so that you guys can see how it goes on to the skin, how it blends, and I give you like my review on this foundation, which you guys have been asking for for quite some time. And if you haven't seen my unboxings and or the try-ons, what are you waiting for? Make sure you go check out those videos. Everyone has been loving them. They're so much fun and you're getting real raw reviews there. Please don't forget to hit the like button for me. I really hope you guys have enjoyed today's video and I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye guys.